All right, cheers. Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, please do time to subscribe down below, hit the little button so you don't miss any of my content. And if you came back, hey mamas! I am so excited to be making a YouTube video. I know that y'all are probably mad at me and I understand that, but Happy New Year if you're watching this the first week of January in 2023. I was supposed to do Vlogmas, and people that were subscribed to me at that time, I got sick. And I wasn't sick the whole time, but then I just got discouraged. So again, really sorry about that, but very excited to be making this video today. It is a new year, and I'm going to actually be talking about something that's super near and dear to my heart that I feel like a lot of y'all probably don't know about me just yet, unless you follow me on my Instagram or TikTok, I guess, at this point. But I'm going to be talking about goal setting. So I recently turned 24 December 1st, and I usually do, like, people usually do goal setting at like the top of the new year, so like of course 2023 in this case, but I actually start my goal setting process for the next year on December 1st, starting my birthday, because that's when, you know, my next year starts, if that makes sense. So I'm literally going to give y'all a full breakdown of how I goal set. Again, I'm very excited about it. I did go very in depth in my newsletter. That's also a new thing. I have a monthly newsletter that I put out on the first of the month. I actually started on my birthday, that I also dived deep into goal setting, but I'm gonna break it down for y'all in this video form because I don't know, this stuff gets me excited. So grab a glass of wine, grab some water, and let's get into it. So I'm actually going to be trying the Jersey Caramel Apple Wine. It's produced in Bottom, New Jersey. My friend Morgan Flowers, y'all should subscribe to her YouTube, but she actually gave this to me for my birthday, which again was December 1st. So I'm going to try this out and see what I think while we go throughout the video. It's caramel apple. It smells good. It's very sweet on the sweet meter, and it's also 9% alcohol. All right, y'all. Let's just taste it first. I mean, I love apples. It's definitely sweet, but we gonna rock with it for the video. All right, cheers. So I have my handy dandy iPad, and I feel like I might have mentioned this in a video prior, but I'm really gonna break this down as if I've literally never talked to y'all about it before. So goal setting. Goal setting is a very big thing to me. Recently at work, and also when I was in undergrad, I took this thing called the Clifton Strengths. You can think of the Clifton Strengths almost as like a new age Myers-Briggs. It's basically not a personality test, but basically like a talents finder, if you will. Clifton Strengths has 34 different talents. Everybody has a unique combination of those talents, but after filling out, you know, a quiz, you are given those 34 talents in order, and then that top 5 is usually what, you know, you pay attention to. And one of the talents that I had in my top 5 was futuristic. Now, characteristics of futuristic is basically one that is inspired by the future, gains a lot of motivation from things that they feel can happen in the future, and also the ability to inspire others about what could happen in the future as well. I'm always looking into the future. It sometimes can become an issue for myself because sometimes I have an issue staying in the present, but when it comes to goal setting, it's super good for me. First and foremost, I use an app called Notion. Notion is super cool. I feel like it low-key got super kind of what trendy on like TikTok. People have like different Notion templates and things like that, but I've been using Notion for about like three and a half years or so, and it's just a really good way to organize your thoughts. So I have that on my laptop now. But basically I have a template. This template is available on my website under the links tab. It's a free template. If any of this seems helpful or could be helpful to you, please use the template. Please do. So again, on my website under the links tab, do that. Now, I think one of the more important things that you're supposed to do, or that I do, is I try to look at what my actual year is now, or where I'm at. Basically, like, you can't make a plan for the future if you don't know where you are currently. Basically have this table broken down into various different categories. So I have education, career, finances, emotional state, business ventures, relationships, overall energy, travel and experience, and physical health. I have columns of basically rating how I feel about those on a scale of 1 to 10. 10 being like 100% really awesome, like I feel very good about this area. 1 being like, like something's gotta shake type thing. Then actually prioritizing those areas. I think something that I realized about goal setting is like, it's cool to have a lot of goals, but you do also have to kind of determine for yourself what is the most important to you. And I do recognize that 2 things can be, you know, important at once, not trying to take away from like one area. But I do also think that like going through the exercise of trying to figure out like, okay, is education or my career more important to me this year? Are my business ventures or travel more important than one another? So I basically try to prioritize them the best that I can. Then I also talk about my current reality. So like, where am I currently? Yeah, I can get used to that actually. So basically you need to figure out where you are currently. So for one of the categories I have career. So thankfully I was recently given a promotion at work. I've been working at my job for about 2.5 years, which is kind of wild to say now, but I was given a progression and I'm kind of on track to continue to create a large positive impact at work. So that would be like something you would write under current reality. Then you have a column for like vision in 1 year. So like, where do you want to be at work? So maybe in that line, like maybe I want to be promoted to like the next step of scientist next year. First and foremost, when I think about goals, I start by writing an actual list of goals. That is normally what people think of when they think of goal setting. So in mine, I have 2023, I will, and then I break my goals down into various sections. So I have financial goals, social growth goals, business and professional, consistency, and then miscellaneous goals as well. In these individual sections, I will write down different goals. Now, what's important to note about when you're writing this is you should either have them written in future tense or past tense. Now you're like, okay, like why not in the present tense? For me, and I feel like I also have like read and like watched different videos on this topic too, when you are goal setting, I like to write in the future tense. It's like I will do XYZ. So like for instance, I will book 5-10K plus in brand deals and influencer partnerships by the end of the year. Or in 2023, I did book 5-10,000 plus or like 5-figure plus deals in influencer partnerships by the end of the year. Writing in the past tense is a very unique way to look at goals. I recently was asked by my therapist to write a journal entry in the past tense. So basically me in the future tense in a year, writing to myself now about like what I accomplished. So like writing it in the past tense, like, oh yeah, like I did XYZ, we finally did this, all that type of stuff. And it honestly was a very, very cool and interesting exercise, and actually gave me almost like a boost of confidence, like speaking that way, speaking as if I already accomplished it, was kind of cool. So you can either write these goals in the future tense or the past tense, whatever makes the most sense to you. So you're going to write all those goals down. And this is going to be a very breathable list. This list does not have to stay the same once you just write down things. Again, like your goals change, your mindset change, things change in general, life happens. So this can be a very breathable list. Nah, this kind of hit. All right, Morgan. So now that we know where we are and where we want to go, then we're going to actually make a vision board. Now again, I'm only explaining to you what I do, what helps me. I am a visual person, so I like to go to Pinterest, find a bunch of pictures that, you know, speak to me. I do like to make sure that the people in the pictures look like me, so I do try to find photos of Black women in particular. I try to even take it a step further, or like Black women that like are brown or dark skinned, because again, it just kind of helps me visualize someone that looks like me doing something that I associate with the goal that I'm trying to accomplish. I actually made a TikTok video about it and it kind of went viral. So if you want to hear more as to why, definitely go check out that TikTok on my page. But making a vision board. So this is my actual vision board. I love it. I think it's super, super cute. Also with the intro to this video, that was like a sped up video of a bunch of different photos that I have in my vision board. And I don't know, when I look at it, it just makes me feel very empowered. It's literally a summation of everything that I want to accomplish this year and just moving forward in general. Once you make your vision board, and that's for the year, so you have your written down goals for the year broken up into different categories. You know where you are currently, and you kind of reflected on where you are. You've made your vision board for the year, so I normally set that for like my computer background and also my phone background. And then you're going to start looking at your quarters. And I think this is where people go wrong with goal setting. They just stop at the yearly goals and they're like, all right, cool, now let's do it. And they don't kind of create a plan for themselves to accomplish things throughout the year. It's basically like setting like intermediate goals for yourself. So the Notion template that I have on my page is for my quarterly goals. So I'm going to be showing y'all my Q1 goals. For Q2 through Q4, I actually make those towards like the end of Q1. So around like mid-March, I'll make my Q2 goals and so on and so forth throughout the rest of the year. I start off my template with a vision statement. Something that I personally am trying to work on is I realized through therapy this year that I am a perfectionist. I actually thought that everyone was like that, but turns out they're not. Crazy. So my vision statement for this year is I will always value consistency over perfection. Consistency is something that I'm really trying to focus on and value. Everything does not have to be perfect from the beginning. I found that sometimes I wouldn't even start to execute an idea or start to try and do something if it wasn't going to be perfect, if I didn't feel that I had all my resources together. So once you have a vision statement that you are comfortable with, again, everyone's vision statement will be different because everyone's going to be working on different things. Then I have daily intentions. So basically like daily affirmations. So I have, I'm capable, I'm intelligent, I'm doing the best I can, I'm aligned to receive everything I want and desire. So these are basically things that I say to myself on a regular basis. I'm capable, I'm intelligent, I'm doing the best I can have been affirmations that I've had for myself over the past 2 years. I recently added, I'm aligned to receive everything I want and desire. But with this, you're basically just kind of figuring out what you would want to hear, you know, when things don't go well. Because yes, you can have a plan, but change is the only constant, and sometimes you're gonna get discouraged. So what can you kind of say to yourself to help yourself do that? Like when I'm stressed at work and I don't know the answer, I literally will repeat to myself, like, I'm capable, I'm intelligent, like I can do this. I don't know the answer now, but I will, you know, figure out what to do, and so on and so forth. So everyone, again, all people's affirmations are most likely gonna be a little bit different, but if some of the affirmations that I just mentioned are gonna be helpful to you, please use them. So the next thing in the template is my 1-year goal. So you're probably wondering, okay, well, Camille, we literally just talked about, you know, writing down our goals and splitting them into different sections. This is kind of like a one-liner that summarizes all of those goals. This is a little bit more difficult to do, but again, don't dwell on it too much. But just make sure that you're kind of prioritizing the main things that you really want to try to accomplish. So for me personally, I have to make a certain amount with a secondary stream of income stemming from content creation, to prioritize my physical health because that's something that I've always lacked discipline in, and then consistent with habits and practices to become the best version of myself. So that's, again, kind of like an overarching, very general thing. Now, for your 12-week goals, because quarters, there's 4 quarters in a year, so your 12-week goal, that's 3 months. I have to launch my first digital product, which I am in the process of doing, hit 40K on TikTok, and then establish a consistent and sustainable posting schedule for all my platforms, especially YouTube, and then Instagram as well. So again, your 12-week goals don't necessarily have to pull from your 1-year goals. So like for instance, or you don't necessarily have to have one 12-week goal associated with 1-year goal. They don't have to necessarily be linked. If they are, great, perfect. But you don't have to. So like for instance, in my 1-year goal, I have prioritized my physical health, but I don't really have anything in my 12-week goals associated with that because I know that I am signed up for SolidCore for 6 months, and I legally have to pay them regardless. So like your girl's gonna go to SolidCore regardless, even though I do love SolidCore and like I've really been loving that, and I'm sure I'll talk about that in another video. So we have our vision statement, we have the daily affirmations or intentions, we have 1-year goals that kind of summarize everything that we wrote down before, and then we have 12-week goals that are like our main intermediate focus for the first quarter. Then the fun part comes. So I told you I'm a very visual person, so I actually have pictures associated with each goal. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. But for each of those goals, for your 12-week goals, you're going to have different strategies. Now I have 3 or 4 strategies for each of them. That's just how many strategies that I thought of. But again, if you have more strategies or fewer strategies, that is cool. So for instance, I have goal 1 to launch my first digital product in Q1. So I've created a template for all the travel guides. I'm going to be releasing travel guides since I travel so often. Of course, y'all have seen my travel vlogs. I go a lot of places. Last year in 2022, I went on 12 different vacations that required me to fly places. I did not include drivable locations. But I'm gonna actually start making travel guides because I feel like a lot of people always ask me, you know, where I go, what restaurants I eat at, how to keep the costs low, things like that. So I'm actually gonna, like, you know, make products and sell them for something very cheap, but like make, you know, a template to be able to put out travel guides for the various places I traveled this year. 2, researching the pricing for travel guides. What's the current market? I have bought my own travel guides before, but honestly I haven't really thought too much about it since it wasn't something that I was physically, you know, putting out or doing. Strategy 3, designate time to actually go around and take photos in Philadelphia. So I'm based in Philly, and I do plan to make a travel guide for Philly, but because I live here, I don't often just like take photos of me walking on the street. So that'll be something that I'd want to put in the guide, so I need to designate time to do that. Then my 4th one is determine the travel guide rollout. So whether that's going to be my newsletter, my TikTok, my YouTube, and which cities I'm going to release and when. So do I want to release all the travel guides I have at once? Do I want to release them as I travel to places? I have to figure that out. So you're going to do that for all of your goals, for the 12-week goals. So again, I have 3 goals, so I designated strategies for each of them. And then this is something that I added this year that I think is going to be crucial for me to actually be successful in completing these goals. I added a sacrifice and the cost section. I actually got inspo from this on someone from TikTok. I am forgetting her name right now. Hopefully I'll be able to find it. But if you're watching this, shout out to you. But basically, I feel like a lot of times I've struggled with, and this kind of ties into being perfectionist, I've struggled with the fact that, like, I want to do it all. I want to do it all, and I want to do everything well. Which, you know, is possible to a certain degree, but when you are going to prioritize something and you want to accomplish something, there are going to be certain sacrifices or costs of, you know, prioritizing that thing. We are all a summation of our parts. So if you want to prioritize one part, that might mean that you might not be able to spend as much time on, you know, another part. And that's okay. Like, that is perfectly okay. And that's something that I'm still trying to get used to. But I think the sacrifice and like the cost section is going to be super, super pivotal for me to actually accomplish some of these goals. So we're going to keep on with like the digital product. Some sacrifice that I thought of is allocating actual time to design and make the products. Like, it is going to take me a little bit of time. Even though I find things like that fun, it's still going to take up some of my time, and my time is valuable. Spending time actually researching the competition and their pricing. So, like, again, I'm going to have to take time to look up different travel guides and research, you know, what they're doing, how they rolled out their, you know, their digital product and things like that. And actually, again, taking time to plan the rollout in detail of how I'm going to do it. I have sacrifices and costs for each of my 12-week goals. And again, I think this is going to be super, super pivotal in me actually being able to accomplish these things, because not only am I thinking about everything I want to do and the strategy and all that stuff, but I'm also thinking of, okay, what are some of the possible like negatives of doing this thing, and am I okay with those things? Okay, so we covered a lot. How are we feeling? How are we feeling? Take a sip of wine. Or water. I don't know how old you are. Take a sip of something. Breathe. Everything will be fine. I also want to say, like, as a disclaimer, that this process does not take me like one day. Like, this is something that, again, I start on my birthday, which is December 1st, and basically do like leisurely throughout December leading up to the new year. So like, by the time that I hit the new year, I'm like, yeah, like, you know, this is it. If you want to hear more in-depth detail in regards to like this process, I do have my monthly newsletter that I put out on the 1st of every single month. If you subscribe after seeing this video, do not fret, you definitely will receive the newsletter. I'm going to have a Dropbox for previous newsletters. If you subscribe, you know, let's say in the middle of the year, and you want to see what I was talking about in January, what I was talking about in December of 2022, you'll be able to see those newsletters and you'll always have access to it. One of my goals for this year is to really build my email subscriber list. I've always wanted a newsletter, so the fact that I actually have one now, and I think I have like 63 subscribers, is like super exciting. I really just want to say thank y'all. I started content creating on a whim in October of 2020, primarily on Instagram, and I started my YouTube channel initially for my podcast, which I do plan to relaunch in February. Y'all will hear about it eventually. But I don't know, the fact that y'all rock with me, like, I'll never get over that. So I hope that this video, like, I always want to give back to y'all, so I hope this video is helpful. If y'all have literally any questions at all, please let me know. Comment down below what your yearly goals, what your quarter 1 goals are. If you need any help with the Notion template, again, the template for quarter goals is on my website under the links tab. Yeah, please let me know how I can help you. I want us all to reach the goals that we really want to, because I know that I get like such satisfaction, you know, when I do accomplish those goals, and I want y'all to be able to accomplish them because you're in my little community with me. With that being said, I'm going to end this video here. I am going to be posting weekly on Sundays. That is my goal for this quarter. If y'all want me to post on another day, let me know down in the comments too. I want to try and make this as democratic as possible. For at least the first 3 months of the year, I'm going to be posting on Sundays, so that'll be something that you can look forward to, something that I can look forward to. Please follow me on my other socials. I have Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest. I love Pinterest, and Twitter too. I don't really be I've recently started tweeting, a little bit, but I have a lot of plans for this year, and I want to engage with y'all as much as possible. So being able to follow me on a bunch of different platforms will aid me and help, you know, you be able to, you know, come to the events. I planned my first event this year. I hosted a solid core class for people based in Philly to try it out for the first time. That is something that I've been absolutely loving recently. But again, that's something I've really been talking more on my Instagram about. So if that's something that you're interested in, more up-to-date, real-time updates, my Instagram is definitely the way to go. But regardless, I really appreciate y'all. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for being here. And if you're at this point, cheers to us and cheers to this year. And I'll see y'all next Sunday. Bye.